concerns.
Right.
Give me one moment.
Mhm.
Try to get everything logged on here.
These are some pretty cool new phones y'all got here. Pretty fancy stuff.
Judge, for the other case that Mr. Joe Rosales is on, it was reset because we haven't received the plea of true documents.
Okay. Let's see if we can get them for next week.
Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, Cheryl.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
The females are downtown, right?
I believe so, yes, ma'am.
Okay, they haven't logged on yet. There's a Don.
Morning, Judge.
Good morning, Mr. Valdez. How are you?
I'm good. Yourself?
Good.
Fine. How are you?
I was wondering, is that Joe Rowe? Oh no,
It's
It is
Mark
not.
Brook.
okay.
Yes.
The shadow. I couldn't tell who it was.
There we go.
Oh, now I see it.
Right. I happened to be in the courthouse, and I wasn't going to make it back to my office. And Glenn was nice enough to lend me his computer. So,
All right.
Somebody call the downtown and see if they're ready.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
I know Mark Rowe doesn't roll off the tongue the way Joe Rowe does. That's why I tend to call you Tony Stark.
well, I don't blame you. And I see you're trying to copy my look. But in any event, you can say Marco Rowe if you prefer.
I think of you as Iron Man now.
Well, there you go. I'll take it. I'll take what I can get. Got the vest going on, looking very bankerish there, man.
All I need is the little visor with the green thing.
That's it, man.
Judge, they said they should be signing on any minute.
Okay, great. See if we can get Mr. Rosales back to his hearing.
Well, I have a sneaking suspicion that hearing is gonna fall to pieces. So it's, yeah,
Mark, you're here on Valentina, right?
Ramnerine, correct.
Marine, okay.
So I was telling Judge Gonzalez that I'm struggling with figuring out which one's which, because we were in the JMAC a couple of weeks ago on the P file cases. And then this one popped up and I thought they were all the same. They just got accepted, but apparently there's 3 now. So.
Right. So as best as I could piece it together, as 2 separate offense dates, the complaining witnesses are still the same. It's her parents.
Right. And so I think the hard part here is figuring out where she can live.
Right.
Right.
And
Because-
she may also be wanted out of Las Cruces,
All right.
probably for a similar incident.
Yeah.
On a battery. Adan, what's the likelihood that that 3rd P file will get filed?
I can't make any representations that would be accurate on this one as to the P file. Up until the point that you had said about the New Mexico offense, well, you said it's for a battery. So my inclination, given her age and the fact that there was a protective order on the work stemming from the first incident, my understanding is so long as we made no offensive contact with her parents and perhaps a 500-foot or 200-yard physical barrier from their home address as a condition for PR bond, given her age, and the conduct itself was relatively de minimis as far as the cases before us in terms of the assaultive conduct. I'd be okay with agreeing to a PR bond on her under those circumstances.
As long as she has somewhere to reside other than with her parents.
Yeah, that's the hard part. And we couldn't get that figured out at the JMAC hearing. So maybe she can share with us. I mean, it may be something that she has to work on, Judge. I don't know if you have ever put like a condition on the PR bond that she provide that information to PR and then it'd be granted. I don't know if you do anything like that.
I don't know that I've ever done it that way. They usually find somewhere.
Yeah.
First. But we'll see so that we can get her out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she has a aunt, uncle, friend. On one of the applications, it looks like she put she was living with her boyfriend.
There we go. That's hopeful.
Still no downtown, Judge?
No,
We call it good.
okay. And I've got 3 lawyers in the waiting room, so they need to get on here.
Judge, the alternate address that you were alluding to right now, this was on what, the application for court-appointed counsel in one of the
Yeah.
affidavits? Okay, let me see if I can find that.
On one of the 3, I don't remember which one. I believe this was the case.
He said he was going to call to see what's going on.
There he is. Good morning, downtown.
Good morning, Judge.
May I have Miss Ramnaren, please?
Of course, Judge.
Thank you.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. Court calls the cases of the state of Texas versus Valentina Ramnarin, cross numbers 2023-0C0 3375, 2023-0C0 3461, and 2023 P file 04323. What says the state
Adon Valdez on behalf of the state, ready to proceed with the bond hearing, your honors.
and the defense?
Good morning, Judge Mark Rosales on behalf of the defendant. Ready.
All right, what do you have, Mr. Rosales?
Well, Judge, my client, we had a bond hearing on two unfiled cases in the JMAG about approximately 2 weeks ago. The judge then reduced them to $1,500. Obviously, my client has not been able to pay those bonds. We're seeking a PR bond. I don't have updated information from her as to where she would be residing, so I would like to ask her that question in the event a PR bond is granted.
All
So,
right, Ms. Ramnarin, are you Valentina Ramnarin?
Yes, ma'am.
Raise your right hand. Solemnly swear affirm testimony may give in this matter be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Rosales.
and where could you reside here in El Paso that would not be with any of the alleged victims of the cases?
I would be residing at a RV trailer that I have in Canutillo, Texas, and I would be there by myself, sir.
Do you have
I
an address?
I already have it processed that I do have the trailer there waiting for me.
Do you have the address?
Yes, it should be, the address would be 5th Street, Canutillo, Texas.
Okay, it's an RV park there.
Yes, it's an RV trailer parked that there's multiple different trailers there that we park, and we pay 200 for the rent space of it.
Okay, and where are you gonna be working, or how are you gonna get the money to pay that $200?
It's already paid for.
Okay, and so you can move into that space now,
Yes,
and then you will be alone.
yes, sir.
Okay, and do you have a phone number?
Currently at this time,
Do you have an email address?
yes.
And what is that?
Valentina, my first name, and then dot, and then my last name, and then 0215@gmail.com.
Valentina dot, is it Ramnarine or?
Yes, my first and my last name with a dot in the middle with the 0, 2, 1, and a 5 at the end at gmail.com.
And you can receive notifications to present yourself in court in the future.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, that's all I have, Judge.
All right, Mr. Valdez, do you have anything?
No, I relayed to the court before that so long as the condition of the PR bond was no offensive contact with the complaining witnesses in this case, and whatever the court's distance discretion, or if the court wants to leave it at just no offensive contact, but perhaps a provision of 200 yards from their physical address, something to that effect. My only question to the court is, I believe the address given was an RV park on 5th Street. I don't know if that's sufficient. If there's a name of the park, I can maybe look it up to see if I can find what matches, that the name of that park on 5th Street and get a more specific address.
It should be the, I don't have the 151 Canutillo, Texas. It should be 5th Street. And it should say, it's because my boyfriend, he bought it already and he has it there waiting for me, so I can be alone there. But he didn't give me like the specific number to it. But if I get I know it's 151 5th Street,
Okay.
Texas.
All right, the court is going to grant a $1,500 PR bond on all of these three cases with the following conditions. You have no contact with your parents. You use no illegal substances. You commit no new offenses. You attend all court hearings. You maintain current contact information with the CJC department so that they can notify you of any upcoming hearings, and a 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew. You violate any of these conditions, a warrant for your arrest will be issued. And let me tell you now, Ms. Ramnaren, I am not in the habit of letting people out on PR bond repeatedly. I had previously let you out on PR bond, or you were out on a PR bond and you picked up 2 new offenses. This will be the last time I let you out on PR bond. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Anything further, counsel?
Nothing further from the state, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
Thank you. If that's all you have, you may be excused.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Thank you.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
May I have Samu Sandoval, please?
I'm sorry,
Yes,
Judge.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Give us 1 second.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. DeCotes.
Morning, Your Honor.
Trying to get your client here.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, court calls a case of the state of Texas versus Samu Sandoval, cause number 2023-0C03271. We're here on a pretrial. What says the state
Other than this, on behalf of the state is ready.
and the defense?
Morning, Your Honor. Matthew DeCotes for Mr. Sandoval. Ready, Your Honor.
Okay. So this matter is set for a jury trial August 1st, but for now, we wanted to give you another opportunity. So I don't know what the recommendation is, Mr. Valdez.
Recommendation on portal is 45 days to serve in the El Paso County Detentional Facility with credit for time served.
Do you have anything, Mr. DeCotes?
Yes, Your Honor, please the court. Don, good morning.
Morning.
Judge, Your Honor, this is the first time that I've been in front of you on this case. I do have the recommendation. It is on portal. Just for the record, we waive a reading of the complaint and information, respectfully enter a plea of not guilty. The recommendation appears to be fair to me. I don't know if the court does breakout rooms or not.
I
did-
do, briefly.
It would only take a second, Your Honor.
Okay, let me,
Thank you.
Judge, I think you sent me the invite. I'm sure that's a party I am not invited to.
no, I believe I try to send it to the annex. It's showing the annex and Mr. DeCote.
Okay, I'm just going to click not now for me.
There we go. Mr. DeCote?
I believe we can resolve this case at the court's earliest opportunity. I just need the plea papers.
All right, if Mr. Valdez will get those to you, we will schedule, if we get them back by Tuesday, we can schedule it for next week.
That would be most excellent, Your Honor.
Mr. DeCoach, just let me check because Mr. Morales did post a note on portal that you had requested the plea papers. If he took the step to document that you had, he probably would have prepared them and sent them to you. Do you know if you have them already or not?
I haven't received them yet.
Okay, then I'll make sure to do it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. You may be excused.
Have a good day, Your Honor.
You too, Mr.
Valdez.
Coach.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
See y'all later.
Let me see who Mr. Montoya is on.
Yes,
Good
good
morning,
judge.
Mr. Montoya. Who are you on?
Mr. Devonte Edwards.
Okay. May I have Mr. Edwards, please? Mr. Huerta?
I'm here, Judge.
I don't think you have anything with us this morning.
Judge, he is on one. There's a Tiffany Ojeda set at 11, wherein on the probation case, she's represented by the public defender's office, but on the unadjudicated assault by Mr. Huerta.
Okay. I didn't see that. I saw public defender both. We'll get to you shortly, Mr. Huerta.
Yes, Judge. Yes.
All right, court calls the cases of the state of Texas versus Devonte Edwards, cause numbers 2023-0C03618 and 2023-0C03654. What says the state
Avan Valdez on behalf of the state, ready to proceed, Your Honor.
and the defense?
James Montoya for Mr. Edwards, Your Honor. We're ready.
All right. You are Devonte Edwards.
Yes, ma'am.
Raise your right hand, sir. Solemnly swear affirm testimony you may give in this matter be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you have, Mr. Montoya?
Your Honor, Mr. Edwards was arrested last week on a charge of continuous violence against the family, a felony. And his bond was initially set at $30,000. It was reduced at the jail magistrate to $20,000. And then I think the state realized that they could not charge this case as a continuous family violence case. And so it was reduced to a Class A misdemeanor. He does have a pending family violence felony in the 168th right now, but it's beyond the 12-month period. And so this case can only be filed as a Class A. And so we're asking that the bond be reduced from $20,000 to reflect a Class A misdemeanor.
All right. What kind of bond can he make?
Your Honor, he indicated to me that his family has between $500 and $1,000 cash. So I think a bond, I think 5,000 would be appropriate. He's born and raised here in El Paso. Both his mother and his sister and his grandmother live here. He has a separate residence from the complaining witness in this case. So that will not be an issue. And so we're asking for a bond of $5,000.
All right. Mr. Valdez.
Judge, the state would respectfully disagree with some of the averments made by defense counsel in their proffer on this bond hearing. This is not a lesser charge because we realize there was an error with the continuous. These are completely separate independent cases. The continuous family violence case that is filed under or indicted under cause number 2022-0D02376. The complaining witness in said case is a Gabby Sandoval. The complaining witness in the case before us today is a Deborah Brooks, entirely different individual. The state would oppose any reduction or any relief in bond for this gentleman, starting with criminal history. He has 2 burglary of habitation convictions, felonies back in 2015. He did successfully complete 5 years probation on those. There was, stemming from an offense date of 4/11/21, this is now getting into recent history, and then we'll dovetail into pending history. Offense date 4/11/21, there was an assault family violence case stemming from that date. The complaining witness there was Gabby Sandoval. The one that I just mentioned is also the complaining witness on that continuous AFE. That charge was dismissed. Offense date 9/15/2021. There is a currently pending felony under cause number 2022-0D03324. The complaining witness in that charge is an infant child with whom the defendant has with Ms. Sandoval. Then there's the stemming from January 9th, 2022, the continuous family violence, which we referred to earlier. The complaining witness there, Gabby Sandoval. And then the most recent infraction, May 24th, 2023, that is the two cases before the court today, the resisting arrest and AFV, complaining witness Deborah Brooks. I would also just bring to the court's attention the factual similarity, both the continuous family violence, or at least one of the instances of the continuous family violence felony, where the complaining witness is a separate woman. The incident of violence arises from an accusation of infidelity. So what we have is a pattern of behavior, repeated behavior, distinct complaining witnesses. This person is a danger to the community. For those foregoing reasons, we oppose.
All right,
May I respond, Judge?
go ahead.
So I agree. He has a pending continuous case. Those are incidents that are alleged to have occurred in 2021 and 2022. The case that happened last week, I'm looking at the complaint affidavit that was filed by the El Paso Police Department last week, alleging a new continuous violence against the family. And that's why the bond on this case right now, I'm looking at the bond order for this case right now. It says continuous violence against the family, original bond 30,000. It was reduced last week to 20,000. And so now we have a $20,000 bond on a Class A misdemeanor. And we're just asking that the bond reflects, the appropriate class of offense.
All right. That being the case, the court is going to reduce the bond to $5,000 on the AFV and leave the $1,000 bond on the resisting. Anything further?
Nothing from the
From the
defense.
state.
All right. May I have Tiffany Ojeda, please?
May I be excused, Judge?
Yes, thank
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Judge, before we begin, or not to skip ahead, there is a particular issue in this case with Ms. Ojeda that when we get all the parties online, if I would be allowed to bring to light, because they may be things that are not known to all the relevant parties here.
Okay, that's what we are doing.
Okay.
Ms. Yaldo, are you on Ms. Ojeda's case?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm
Okay.
on the probation violation harassment charge.
All right, then. Court calls the cases of the state of Texas versus Tiffany Ojeda, cause numbers 2020-0C0 7480 and 2022-0 C0 5017. What says the state
Adán Valdez, on behalf of the state, ready to proceed on both matters.
and the defense?
Your Honor, a privilege to be here. Jonathan H. Huerta on behalf of Tiffany Ojeda, ready to proceed, Judge.
And Ana Yelda with the El Paso County Public Defender Office here on behalf of Miss Tiffany Ojeda, also ready.
All right, you are Tiffany Ojeda.
Yes, Your Honor.
Raise your right hand. Solemnly swear or affirm testimony you may give in this matter be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
All right. What do you have, Mr. Valdez?
So I think that to kind of set the table for what we have before us, the notes indicate that at the time that we negotiated the agreement for the harassment charge, we were aware of and familiar with the assault charge that was going to come up. It was simply in a pre-file status at the time. So there was no additional conduct that occurred after the fact that was relevant to that. Here's where there appears to be an error that we should make part of our calculation as to how to move forward. The state's offer on the harassment case, as indicated in the recommendation tab and also in the state's offer that was made part of the plea documentation, was 12 months deferred probation. However, the judgment reads that it's 12 months straight probation. So as it stands right now, she did not get the benefit of the bargain that was intended by the parties because she has a conviction on her record wherein initially she would have been right now in the placement of, yes, she violated probation, but she would have had one foul to give, so to speak, because she would have been on deferred. That was what was the intention. But what she has right now.
That may have been the state's intention, but I don't recall. Maybe I didn't take the deferred.
That could be. I can only go by the documentation that I can see. So anyway, I just want to bring that to light in case it was a matter that was simply a nunc-pro-tunc kind of issue. Yes, the court might have said, I won't accept deferred. That could have been. I don't believe with the criminal history that she has, though, that the court necessarily would have had a reason to, but obviously I wasn't present for that. But I think deferred would probably have passed muster, would be my suspicion.
We would have to look at the docket sheet and the record at the time.
Okay, so I just wanted to bring that to light in case that was something that anyone was unaware of. That being said, the state's recommendation at this time, and we are open to a counter offer from the councils representing the parties on both matters. Opening rec is 45 days. In light of that issue, is 45 days on both cases on the revo and on the unadjudicated.
All right. Today she's set for a bond reduction. Who wants to go first? Mr. Huerta, Ms. Yaldo?
Your Honor, I'll go first.
All
Judge,
right.
and if I may, Your Honor, I was, well, I'll go with the bond hearing, Judge, but I do think I might be able to resolve this after the bond hearing if the court would allow. But then again, I don't know if I could speak to my client in private, but I might be able to come with a deal back to the court to accept.
I
Judge.
can put the three of you in a breakout room if you'd like, very briefly though.
I think
Yes,
that would be
Judge.
best, Your Honor.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Mhm. I'm not sure what happened, Rihanna. Let's see. Mhm.
The only thing I can think, Judge, is since we used a breakout room earlier, maybe close them and then reopen it.
I had closed them all. Let me close them again. All right, so now breakout rooms in progress. But it's not showing me Mr. Huerta. Let me make you a co-host
Yes, ma'am.
and see if you can. Whoops, no. There you go. There it goes. Great.
Judge, we have spoken, myself, Mr. Huerta, and Ms. Ojeda, and I believe we've reached a counter for the state.
Go ahead.
So Ms. Ojeda, I did speak with her this morning. She would like to plead true to the probation violation on the harassment charge. We're countering with 30 on both. She would take that today. I mean, obviously we'd fill out the paperwork and everything, but she would take 30 if Mr. Valdez is willing to offer that and this court's willing to accept it.
So Judge, the state would be amenable to that, and for the court's consideration in terms of whether the court would be amenable to that, I would reiterate that the assault conduct was known to the state at the time that we extended the offer originally on the harassment charge. So that conduct was already considered in that. And the complaining witness on the assault case is a gentleman by the name of DeVern Hawkins. This is an individual who is known in the state, and we would proffer that the credibility and or degree of empathy with which jurors would be likely to have with this individual is one in which we think 30 days on both cases would be a fair resolution.
All right, that being the case, we will reset this matter for a plea next week. As long as we get the paperwork back.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Judge.
Of course. Thank you, Judge.
Send it
Thank
off,
you all.
Mr. Valdez. We will address it next week.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Mr. Velez. Thank you,
If
Mr.
that's all you have.
Thanks.
Judge,
That's all I have, Judge. Okay.
that was the last one for downtown. Are we excused?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, Tiffany. That's all.
May I have Mr. Morgan annex?
Yes, ma'am. Just 1 second.
Thank you. Are you on this, Alan?
What was that, Your Honor?
Morgan?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm going to be covering for Mr. Rafa Morales. For
Okay.
Mr. Morales.
We do need a waiver of arraignment on this.
Okay, Your Honor, I will let him know.
Thank you. Court calls the case of the state of Texas versus Gregory Morgan, cause number 2022-0C06544. We're here for a pretrial. The court is aware that Mr. Morgan is booked on 4 felonies, but he's also been in jail on this case over 200 days. What says the state
Don Valdez, on behalf of the state, ready to proceed, Your Honor.
and the defense?
Ana Yelda with the El Paso County Public Defender Office here on behalf of Mr. Gregory Verdell Morgan, also ready.
All right. What is going on, Ms. Yaldo?
Your Honor, I believe today is a pretrial hearing. I've asked Mr. Morales multiple times for an update. I was not able to get one. I do understand that Mr. Morgan is being held on multiple felonies. If the court would give me just one moment to look at the notes from the misdemeanor to see if there's anything that I could give to the court. I'm not sure if the district attorney has an update on what's going on with the misdemeanor.
I think it provides some information as far as the overall picture. So as far as the misdemeanor side, I put a rec on the portal this morning of dismiss with plea to any of the felonies. He has a plenty. As a separate option, I will simply put basically time served. So he's got 200. I'll make a rec for 100 days, credit for time served on the misdemeanor. The issue is that the felony probably is not necessarily in a great place to land because there is not a rec on the felonies as of the last slew of cases that he picked up. The most recent rec that I could find was at the time prior to his most recent arrest. The rec was 10 TDC at that time. So I can only suspect best case scenario, it stayed at 10 TDC. More likely than not, it's reason to believe that it would go up. So negotiations on the felony are probably not in a execution point anytime soon, I would suspect.
All right. Then at this point, yes,
No, yeah, I'm so sorry. You can keep going, Your Honor.
at this point, not knowing what else is going to happen, we are going to set this matter for trial.
Understood, Judge.
All right.
Your Honor, thank you so much.
Thank you. You may be excused. And lastly, may I have Mr. Perez?
Yes, ma'am.
Please let Mr. Morales know that if he's going to have you cover, he should update you before the hearing.
Oh, I did let him know, Your Honor. Don't worry. But I will let him
Does
know.
you
again.
no good if you're not aware of what is going on.
It
the
also does me no good. I completely agree with you, Your Honor.
Court calls a case of the state of Texas versus Alejandro Perez, cause number 2023-0C03343. We're here on defendant's plea of guilty. What says the state
Don Valdez, on behalf of the state, ready to proceed, Your Honor.
and the defense?
Ana Yelda with the El Paso County Public Defender's Office here on behalf of Mr. Alejandro Perez, also ready.
You are Alejandro Perez.
Yes,
Raise your right hand, sir. Solemnly swear affirm testimony you may give in this matter be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
yes, I do.
Are you a U.S. citizen, Mr. Perez?
Yes,
Charged with the offense of assault alleged to have occurred in El Paso County, Texas, July 7th, 2022. To those charges, sir, how do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
guilty.
Am I correct that the state decided to drop the family violence on this case? Is that true?
That is my understanding. The defendant will be pleading merely to an assault.
All right. Then the court will find you guilty, sir, sentence you to 30 days in jail plus court costs with credit for time served on everything. Your other case, cause number 2023-0C0-2023, will be dismissed as per the state's recommendation.
Judge,
Any further, counsel?
I wasn't aware of the dismissal as part of the plea. Can you read me that cause number again so I can submit that to you if it's not already been submitted?
2023.
I'm sorry, there's a pause in there. I didn't hear the whole number.
That was the number, 2023.
Okay, got it.
All right. Anything further, counsel?
Nothing from the state.
Nothing from the defense, Your Honor. Thank you so much.
Okay. Then that wraps up our jail docket, so everyone may be excused. Thank you, Annex.
Thank you so much.
We will see.
And Judge, did Mr. Morales tender a dismissal as part of the documentations he sent, or do you need me to do that?
He did not.
Okay, I'll get that done.
Thank
And
you.
Mr. Valdez, I'm going to email you the email exchange for about the dismissal, just so you can have it for your records, okay?
Well, that's fine. No,
It
thank
was
you.
on the plea
I
agreement.
appreciate it, but we're good.
Perfect. Thank you so much, everyone. See you